Here's what happened then, round 15 of the FI Motocross World Championship, MX2 Race 1, the MXGP of Flanders, Lommel. Sacha Koenen over the foxhole shot line, but Kai de Wolf tried to sneak around the outside of him by the next turn, but he was pushed into that second position. Adamo was there in third. Championship leader Langenfelder was fourth, and then McClellan. And they were pretty much the story of the race in this first outing. McClellan tried to get up the inside of Adamo there to move into third, but was denied. Eventually found his way through to move into that third place, inside-outside combination, and that was on the opening lap. On the opening lap as well, Sacha Koenen launched himself up the side of the track and almost into oblivion, but he managed to stay on two wheels, but not for long, because he had this moment a couple of laps later where he ended up getting hit by the bike in the process. He picked himself back up, fought his way back up towards the top five, and even found his way past Langenfelder as well on the way through. And that was for fourth place. And then it was Langenfelder who had this moment, just buried the front. Wow, we didn't see that angle previously. Back end spun round viciously. Koenen wasn't done as well. Eventually, he came home in fourth place. Even though he fell from fourth there, he picked himself up in that fourth, but he will take a 5-point penalty at the top of the championship as well for not respecting waved yellows. De Wolf winning for the 8th time ahead of McClellan, Adamo, Koenen, and Langenfelder was 7th. Here's what happened in race 2 here in Lommel. Sacha Koenen once again fastest out of the blocks. Adamo and Volk, they tagged going into that first turn. And another good start for Kai de Wolf, exactly what he needed. He emerged from the first couple of corners in third, quickly got himself past Valerio Latta to move into second, and he didn't take too long to find his way back into the lead as well, when he eventually found his way past the number 19 of Sacha Koenen. The two Yamahas were in there of Beniston and Elzinga, but lap 2, pulling up on the front end, Kai de Wolf made light work of Sacha Koenen, and Langenfelder found his way past the number 18 of Valerio Latta as he moved into third on lap 3. And there's a fantastic lap 3 as well for Camden McClellan, all of a sudden launching his way up to fourth place as Valan got the better of Latta on the Honda. McClellan got the better of Langenfelder to eventually move up another position. Eventually came home in second place, or third place did McClellan, but 11.5 seconds clear. Kai de Wolf victorious over Sacha Koenen, Camden McClellan and Simon Langenfelder. The overall Grand Prix belongs to Kai de Wolf.
Gesloten bij KMC Mal, de organisatoren van de wedstrijd van aanstaande, allemaal in de food court. Van het DT1 Airfilters Mercedes Groep Jam.
Yeah, definitely I needed these points. So that was our goal coming into the weekend, to get these points, and that's exactly what we've done. So done the job. Really happy with my riding.
In the MXGP first race, a great start for Romain Febvre over on the right-hand side. He tucked himself around the inside, came out with a foxhole shot. Gifting ran a little bit wide. Few riders getting hung up as they dropped into turn 2. Gifting there in white in second. Hurlings ran the outside in third. Koenen around about 7th, but it wasn't long before he got in the mix and was forcing his way through. Over on the left-hand side, by the time he got out of this turn, he was already up into 5th place behind Brent van Donnick. But it was Febvre who had a 9-point lead at the top of the championship coming into this race, who knew he needed to go. And all the pressure then was on Lucas Koenen. He made this move on Isaac Gifting to move into third. That was at the end of the opening lap. He then got the better of Hurlings in exactly the same way to move into second a lap later. He then went after Febvre, Jeffrey Hurlings out of third with this big moment. He picked himself up and remounted. Eventually came home in 8th place. Wow, massive moment, massive impact for Jago Kids when he crashed out of 6th on the triple after the finish line area. Calvin Verlanderen made his move on Gifting towards the end of the race as he launched his way into 3rd. That's where he would stay, but this was the battle that was on, off throughout the race. Kunin launched himself past Fevre to take over the lead. That was on lap 12. Fevre responded immediately a couple of corners later, but there'd been a slight mistake from Kunin as well prior to that. But in the end, another mistake on the final lap allowed Fevre an easy cruise home. Fevre winning for the 7th time this year from Kunin, Verlanderen, Gifting and Koldenhoff. What a race that was as well. The second MXGP race, and it was Jeffrey Hurlings who swept in from the middle of the gate to take his first foxhole shot since the 10th of October 2021 at La Capelle Marival. Isaac Gifting right there in 2nd. Fevre got the better of Kunin to come out in 3rd. Kunin was in about 5th place behind Bonacorsi through the first couple of corners as Hurlings put in a couple of sprint laps early on, put some distance between himself and the rest of the pack. Verlanderen got up the inside of Kunin though, and that threw a spanner in the works briefly. He was into 6th and then 5th as Gifting fell, and that was a gift right there. One less rider to pass. Kunin then got his head down, went after Bonacorsi, moved into 3rd. Jeffrey Hurlings crashed out of the lead spectacularly. Picked himself up in 3rd place as Fevre and Kunin went by. Koldenhoff found his way past the 70 of Fernandez. That put him into 5th on lap 10 of 17. And this from out of nowhere for the lead. 2 perfectly executed turns. Kunin launched his way into the lead. Hurlings would fall 3 or 4 more times in the race and eventually come home in 8th. But that pass that Kunin put on Fevre, as we said, from out of nowhere, Fevre then had no reply. And on the final lap, Lucas Kunin was able to cruise in front of the home fans to become the first Belgian winner to win on Belgian soil here in Flanders since Kevin Strybos in 2016 for Suzuki. Kunin, your winner in the race. Kunin, Fevre, Verlanderen, your overall Grand Prix result.
De derde plaats voor
Yeah, for sure, because I didn't want to waste any time there. I came from the back, so I pushed my wheel up to the front and I just pushed it there.